in there, but suffice it to say, broadly speaking, the whole world is signatory to the World Health Organization, is a member state. And what does that specifically mean? It means that each state has ratified the WHO founding treaty, its constitution, which I will direct you to. I will direct you to the download of basic documents available directly from the WHO website, which includes, of course, the Constitution, which was signed in New York in 1948, which established the WHO. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of very interesting detail in here. As always, I invite you to go and read through it for yourself, but I will direct you to at least the preamble of the Constitution, which brings to my mind the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that remarkable milestone in the history of human rights, as the United Nations hails it anyway, which was similarly ratified by the United Nations General Assembly in December of 1948, that gives all these this wonderful rhetoric about all the rights and freedoms, and of course freedom from cruelty and torture and imprisonment and degrading treatment and discrimination and all of these things, and you have the right to this and you have the right to that, until you get to Article 29, subsection 3, these rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. So the UN lovingly grants you all of these wonderful rights, except it clearly delineates where those rights end, and it gets to decide when you're stubbing on our toes. What could possibly go wrong with a constitution or document like that? Well, similarly with the World Health Organization Constitution, again, few would argue with the sort of vague, woolly, undefined principles and rhetoric in its preamble, talking about the state of physical, mental, and social well-being being health, not just the absence of disease or infirmity, and they want to achieve the highest attainable standard of health, and all of these other things that sound good, but one can quickly realize how such rhetoric could be employed by people who are not acting in good faith to force people into subjugation. And the example of that comes in the third paragraph of this preamble. The health of all peoples is fundamental to the attainment of peace and security, and is dependent upon the fullest cooperation of individuals and states. Read and reread that sentence until you understand all of its implications, because that, in a nutshell, I think encapsulates the biosecurity paradigm that I keep going back to, is the new paradigm. Bye-bye war on terror. I mean, that's still there, and they'll still drag that out as need be, but the new guiding principle and paradigm for this new era of humanity is the biosecurity paradigm, and that is it in a nutshell. The health of all peoples is fundamental to the attainment of peace and security, and is dependent upon the fullest cooperation of individuals and states. You have to cooperate so that we can attain the fullest state of health for everyone. Whatever we decide, the health authorities decide that means, and whatever we ask you to do, well, you're going to have to cooperate in order to achieve that security. Wear a mask, take the vaccine, whatever it is, the brain chip, whatever we say, you will have to do. That is the embedded piece in this, that again, well-meaning people of good intentions could read right over that and think that it just sounds wonderful. And yes, I agree with that. The devil is always in the details.